Hello everyone, I am Blackhearts184 and welcome back for more episodes of Book of Darkness. I know it's been a while, I do have a little bit of explanation, so here's another an update to what's going on. So lately after the, the second episode? Unfortunately, Brandon had to borrow my games. And he borrowed my system because he does not have a PlayStation 3. So I let him use it, and it was during December. So after I did the it was the special features plus no mods allowed, as you know. But I had to do a third episode of a live stream, but it was really not well. I'm hoping I don't have to end up doing that again, but there could be possible chance, who knows what could happen. So, I know, it is a 2016, and I had a spoiler alert on my one of my videos that I talk about. The episode was going to be about Illuminati. I thought of saving that for a little bit next time, since this is a little bit more, close to Valentine's Day, and I thought, what would be better off than to talk a story about a Valentine's Day? Well, we talk about some of the fairy tales that may have true, either happily ever after or non-happy ever after. Pretty much like pretty much a scary tale / true fairy tales type of thing. But and another thing is, what was another thing I talked about? Oh yeah, I got myself a new mic for my live stream, so it does sound a little weird and may sound a little echoey, but at least you guys could be able to hear me a little bit better. And that for said, it is time to start this 4th episode of Book of Darkness. So, turn off the lights if you want to. Make sure you have the volume somewhere where you can hear it, but do not blast it. And we are going to end the journey to the Book of Darkness. Well, like I said, what is it? It's Friday, February 5th. By the time I upload this, it'll be a little bit later, but hopefully appropriate time to close to Valentine's Day. It is a love area, you know. It's usually the month where everybody who have, you know, people who are couples that love each other, or not just have to be couples, but also your parents, family members, they love each other. It's all about love. And, you know, love is always in the air for February, even though the winter is usually the most, you know, the winter of hate. And summer is for the love. But in some cases, February is usually the time where this is the last month of the winter, before next month comes to March when spring starts. So luckily, this is actually a nice kind of weather because there hasn't been much snow recently. There's only been like a few cases of frost and maybe a little bit of snow, but I'm very, very shocked to where it's not to where it gets a big pile of snow to where it gets too deep. But I am afraid it might do this a little bit later in February, so we don't know what can happen. So don't assume that, oh, it's February, there's not going to be much snow because it's getting close to the end of the winter. No, it can be a chance to where it's going to hit you this quickly. But as for a case, let's just get to cut to the chase here. This will be a fairy tale story. And you know, most fairy tales we know as children has to always have a happily ever after. Some, in true fairy tales, don't. But the one I'm going to talk about has a happily ever after. But it is a dark turn to how it got to it. And I'm talking, of course, about our dear, sweet Cinderella. That is why I picked the Lollipop Chainsaw, not because it was more lighthearted and a little bit upbeat, because of the zombie apocalypse, which is supposed to be a little bit scary. not like too scary, but you know, kind of funny, scary as you see. I thought this would be a appropriate type of game for me to record and also talk about it. Especially, it's close to dressing like what Cinderella would usually wear. It's something that she would usually wear, except no pants. It would be I would think a skirt. But as you know, we've known about Cinderella, how she was being treated by her stepmother and her ugly stepsisters. They pretty much would be either mostly treat her like dirt, maybe abuse in there, and especially the way they shred her clothes. And then she got chanced by the fairy godmother, and you know, she wore a dress and a glass slipper. She met a prince, but her clock went out and she had to go back, otherwise we won't know who she is. And then the prince tries to find the one that he fell in love with, and then it turned out, you know, Cinderella with the glass slipper, because it did not fit with the stepsister's shoes. And it lived happily ever after. Or it's what it seems. Well, actually, I have like two websites. One is a kind of a little bit of a short, but it explains it a little bit. But then there's another one that talks a little bit more details in it. And I actually have a little bit more juicy details about is Cinderella really that sweet, or does she have a little bit of sinister evil? Well, we will see and find out when we read about this story.
We gotta live
Sorry, I'm just like, sorry, I paused for a second. Just try to, because I should have had this prepared. Okay.
Come on, get away from me!
Okay, where's supposed to be where it shows? Ah, here it is. Wait, let me make sure I'm not. Okay. Okay. Here's the Cinderella. In a Brothers Grimm version, one of the Cinderella's evil stepsisters cuts off her toes, and the other her heel, so they can both fit into the tiny glass slipper. The prince is notified by the little doves, and there is blood on the shoes. Wow, it's a little bit disturbing. And it goes right to the heart of it. They finally discover that the true owner is Cinderella. Once the stepsister realized they should try to win favor with Cinderella after she will be queen, they attended her wedding only to have their eyes pecked out by birds. Did they deserve it? I'll decide. I'll let you decide, readers. Okay. Some other side notes on the story. Cinderella does not have a fairy godmother. Rather, she plants a tree by her mother's grave and prays under it every day. She finds her dress to wear it to each ball under the tree. There are 3 in the story, not like in the movie. She's still held by animals through especially birds, not mice. Also, she doesn't lose her shoe just because in a rush. The clever prince covers the steps and pitch to make her stick to them. But she only loses the shoe in the process. So that shows about, you know, what's the full true fairy tale. Now there's another one I thought to read. Why do it again? This has to be this one. Talks about, you know, the Grimm, and then there were some other stories to talk about with Cinderella. So, let me get to the point to where there was one, okay. So there's like 5 points of the whole story. The first one would be Cinderella would need to wear wooden shoes. Okay. They took her pretty clothes away from her and put her old gray bed gown on her and gave her wooden shoes. The translated into English, and I cannot pronounce. What does that say?
Glad you made it, pilot dude.
Okay, hold on.
Hold on, this is too dangerous. I'll meet you in the square.
Speak. Ashen Puddle. Ashen Puddle, okay. Story reads, as you'll see momentarily, foot crime is a major recurrent theme with the Grimm's Bros. But something tells us James won't be walking around wearing wood. There's 2:1, it says there'd be the whole lot more tree. In the version of the Cinderella, the magic all comes with the fairy godmother, but the FG was the invention of what does it say? Perraults, and the rest of the admittedly less popular. Cindy's story finds magic in trees. In the Grimm's version, when Cinderella's dad goes on a work trip or whatever, his stepdaughters ask for lavish gifts. Yeah, lavish gifts, but Cinderella only wants her first branch that knocks over his hat on the way home. Love how she specifies that it has to been on the way home. Wouldn't work the same as if he got it on the way there. The branch ends up being from a hazel bush, and when Cinderella sticks it in her mom's grave and cries on it, it becomes a magic tree. And it says Basil's version, the story, the fairy grows from the date tree itself, which Cinderella told the plant by mating. What does it say? Maiden from her grotto. Is that supposed to say? Grotto of the fairies in Sardinia. Okay. Sorry if I, like I said, bear with my speech. Okay. So that is this word again. She would cry a lot. Well, we see that. Ashen Puddle only 2635 words in English, which isn't an awful lot. Think 3 pages. However, Cinderella weeps in a total of 5 times, 3 times at her mom's grave, once because she can't go to the ball, and then 1 more times because she gets her hopes up that she would get to go after the birds pecked the lentils out of the ashes, but her stepmom just laughed and in her face and said, "No. Why did you fall for that, Cinderella?" Oh, that's a quote. So the fourth one, there would be 3 dresses. Fans should hope that this detail from the Grimm and Basile, I think it's Basile, I can't pronounce that well, it's just so tricky, versions sticks around. Unlike the Into the Woods, Cinderella should get 3 separate outfits to wear to 3 separate bells. In fact, the Basile version, Cindy gets an entire Glim squad, so-called damsel. Is that damsel? Damsels. Yeah, damsels, to help nail her look. And there would be severe foot mutilation. This is where the difference became truly extreme in the Grimm version of Cinderella. They would add the cute little twist where Cinderella's stepsisters try to play the prince for a fool. The first one, her mother's behest cut off her own big toe to fit in the golden slipper, but the prince was alerted to the deception by some singing bird and the bloody shoe. That's a quote. The second sister then cut off her own heel, thereby mutilating herself. But not for the last time. Okay, and then Cinderella's father would be a major POS. That's just something a little bit different about her father, because we never know about Cinderella's father. Actually, there's like 7 of them, so I do apologize, there's actually less.
Nick?
In the most
Nick,
versions
are you here?
of Cinderella that
Nick?
we see now, what does it say? Nowadays, her father is either completely blinded by his new wife or absent altogether. But in both of the Basile and Grimm versions of the tale, he's an abusive monster who calls her a
You okay, Juliet?
stunted kitchen wench. And in Grimm, and an open quote in Grimm, and in an openly neglected her,
What that means. What does it mean?
referring to her as her first wife's daughter instead of his own. In both. So that's kind of messed up. Now it gets to where it's so messed up.
Sorry, Juliet.
Justice will be blind.
Fuck up your birthday.
Oh, sorry, Grimm.
Don't worry
Oh,
about
sorry,
that.
Grimm's
That's the dumbest thing
stepsisters
ever.
was losing in a significant part
Listen,
of your foot
I know it's stupid.
enough
I'm
pain
serious,
for
but
you.
I wanted you to know. I know I've never said it or anything,
Tough.
but I kind of sort of
In pursuit. Wait, what does it say?
love you.
Perrault's version
Oh, I fucking love
of the story, Cinderella forgives her stepsisters in a Basil. They simply fade away, but in the Grimm version, well. Then,
No. There's
when
something
the
we can try. It's the only chance we have to save you.
betrothed couple, I think it's betrothed couple went
You too, baby.
to the church, the elder was at the right side and the younger was at the left side. And the the pigeons pecked out one eye from each of them. Afterwards, they came back. The elder was at the left and the younger at the right, and then the pigeons pecked out the other eye from each. And thus, for their wickedness and flesh falsehood, they were punished with blindness all their days. Boom. So that's actually the story conclude. And when I actually watched there was an episode where they talk about scary tales. Cinderella was one of them. And they first talked about, especially talking about the stepsisters and the stepmother being so abusive, probably verbally and maybe physically. And yeah, it was a magical tree because her mother, and the reason why they say her mother's grave, because her mother died after Cinderella was born. So she never known her mother. And I guess the father was never around. But anyway, the only thing when I watched the video, when the prince came and he brought with some person, when the stepmother tried to fit in the shoe, they had to go in the room, and then Cinderella was it, and she thought of encouraging them. She encouraged the stepmother to say, well, why don't you cut off her toe for the one sister? The other sister had to say, why don't you cut off her heel? So it said that in the video, like in the episode, it said that Cinderella encouraged stepmother to cut off her stepsister's toes and heels. So thinking that maybe Cinderella wasn't such innocent person. Like, she is innocent, but she's not like she has like a pure sinister evil in her. So, and that is pretty much it. That's all I got for you. So, hoping that you guys enjoy Valentine's Day, and yeah. And I hope you guys do enjoy this video. And I do apologize. This took forever. I will continue more. Next one will be something that I did talk about. So do stick around. Keep a lookout. Keep an eye on it. And I hope you guys look out for the shout outs, because I'm also doing shout outs. So if you guys want a shout out, just watch the video and please leave a comment, a like on it, and I will give you a shout out anytime you any video until I do another shout out, which it will be pretty soon because it is close to Valentine's Day. So I hope you guys enjoy. Please like and subscribe. This is Black Cards 194, not 184, and see you next time.
Cassie wins. Fatality.